Okay, so for those of you who haven't torched pots before, when I'm throwing in sections, I torch it just long enough to where I see a considerable amount of steam rising, and then I stop. And it creates kind of a firm skin on the pot, but the pot is still movable. And that, I've found, is wonderful because I like to pull through the joins. Sometimes I stretch and change the shape a little bit, so I like to have that liberty. Okay, so if I've done my measurement right, then this is going to fit right down into that galley. And sometimes you may have to go after it a couple of times. Take my wheel around and see how did it turn out. I'm feeling pretty good about it. It's trying to oval a little on me at the join, so I just gave it a little nudge into place, and there we are. When you cut this off the bat, you want to make sure that you really firmly got the wire up against the bat, because you don't want to do an uneven cut. You want a nice even cut off the bat. Okay, the very first thing I always do is take the top of this pot. I have gravity down here holding it on to that base, and very gently I'm looking for center. And I just find it, and then I'll find center down here, and then I'll move from this center point to that center point. So I'm going to look for center right here, and ooh, didn't that come easily? That was beautiful. And you can see now that I'm compressing the join a little bit. There's a little bit of a dip right there, so I'm going to go just below the join and push that clay outward. This is why it's nice that it's still soft. And work on the integrity of the line of the pot. So once I feel I have it really nice and secure, I go to the inside with my rib and do a compression where I push any extra clay to the outside. And all of a sudden you can see it is more important to me at this point that the inside of my pot is perfect, because I can come back and remove anything I want to from the outside. But if the inside is imperfect, it will show up when it dries. And you can see I had a little extra clay there at the join. That is almost always the case. You need it to make the join strong. So now that I have a strong join, I can just go in with a trimming tool and take that little extra bit of clay off and have a perfectly even wall. You can see that I removed hardly anything, just that teeny little bit of clay. And now I should have a pot with very, very little evidence of the fact that it was thrown in two pieces. And for me, that's looking pretty good. If you have throwing rings all over your pot, it's not as critical to lose the join. But I tend to do things that I need lines to move up and down, not horizontally. So I have to lose all the evidence of any horizontal lines. Just a little bit more to remove. There it is. And I'm really starting to look at this line right here and see if I have any flat edges. And I'm feeling really good about it. So I want the second half of this pot to be fully integrated to the first half. I'm feeling pretty good about it. This was thrown close to finished all the way to about right there. So I'm going to just sharpen up my lines, and then in that little place where I have some thickness, I know I'm only going to put 2 pounds on here, so I'm going to get this thrown finished right here. And there it is. So you can see that I'm throwing in 3 sections and that this pot is still beautifully, beautifully on center. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and score it. Just this little bit. There we go, so you can see it better. Score. Score it with the shrimp fork. So even if I bumped it a little out of center doing that, clay's wonderful memory, it just wants to go right back. Now I'm going to take my measurement. 5 7/8. I'm going to take this pot off and I'm going to throw the 2-inch piece, which will be the top of it. So in the next video, you're going to see the 3rd section added on with a strong rim, and I'm going to pull a spout and dart this pot. I'm going to torch it just a little bit before I come back.